Welcome to InfinityCast, the space where we explore the biggest questions of our universe. I'm your host, Niko Ardent. Today, we're stepping into the realm of philosophy and religion to ask something that has echoed through the centuries. Is belief in God rational? It's a monumental topic, and to help me navigate these deep waters, I'm joined by my wonderful co-host, Indra Solis. Welcome, Indra.
Thanks for having me, Niko. It's a question that can feel intimidating, but I think it's important to clarify our goal. We're not here to prove or disprove God's existence in 5 minutes. Instead, we're exploring whether the belief itself can be grounded in reason.
Exactly. So, where should we begin? Perhaps with one of the classic arguments for theism.
A good starting point is the cosmological argument, or the argument from a first cause.
Right. The basic idea is that everything we see in the universe is contingent. It depends on something else for its existence. You can trace this chain of causes backwards, but it can't go on forever. Logically, there must be an initial uncaused cause that set everything in motion. And that first cause, the argument goes, is God.
It has a powerful, intuitive logic to it, but it immediately invites the classic rebuttal, so what caused God? The argument defines God as the one necessary, uncaused being. For a believer, that makes perfect sense. But for a skeptic, it can sound like special pleading, making an exception for God without justification. It's a rational framework, but it requires you to accept that foundational premise.
That's a fair point. It leads us to another famous line of reasoning, the teleological argument, often called the fine-tuning argument. This one points to the incredible complexity and order in the universe. The classic analogy is finding a watch on a beach. You wouldn't assume the sand and waves randomly assembled it. You'd assume an intelligent watchmaker. The argument applies this to the universe itself. The physical constants are so precisely tuned to allow for life that it seems to imply an intelligent designer.
And that's a compelling idea, but it runs headfirst into what is arguably the most powerful argument against rational belief in a benevolent God, the problem of evil. If an all-powerful, all-knowing, and all-good being exists, why is there so much gratuitous suffering in the world? Why do natural disasters, disease, and cruelty exist? For many, the sheer scale of suffering makes the idea of a loving designer seem not just unlikely, but irrational.
And that argument carries immense emotional and logical weight. It makes you wonder if we're even asking the right question. Maybe the rationality of belief isn't about a logical proof that convinces everyone. Perhaps it's about whether a rational person, acknowledging all these arguments and counter-arguments, can still find it reasonable to believe.
I think that's the heart of it. We've looked at arguments that appeal to logic and design, and a counter-argument that appeals to our sense of justice and compassion. Neither side seems to deliver a knockout blow. The rationality of belief might ultimately rest on a foundation of personal experience, intuition, or what some would call faith, a way of knowing that operates alongside or perhaps beyond strict logical deduction.
A conversation that pushes the very boundaries of reason itself. We've only scratched the surface, but it's a fascinating place to start. Thank you for thinking through this with me, Indra.
Anytime, Niko.
That's all the time we have for today on InfinityCast. Join us next time as we continue to explore the ideas that shape our world. Until then, keep questioning.